Sorry, tell me what's happening today in Port Hope.
This is one of the site-specific art installations that I'm creating across Canada. This is number 52 in Ontario thus far. And they address the lack of connection between settler Canadians and First Nations communities, whether it be Indigenous, Inuit, or Métis. So it's entitled Hope and Healing Canada as a hashtag, all one word essentially, all one phrase. And yeah, it's about how we can move forward through conversation and dialogue, and how that will work. So
Tell me about the yarn, the symbolism.
so red is the color of blood, obviously, and a racial slur. So those are the main two reasons why I chose them. But the color red also symbolizes courage, and passion, and anger, and a whole myriad of emotions. So I felt it was the best color to represent how I was feeling, and how I think a lot of community members are feeling as well.
Putting this over the cannons, I guess. Any thing with that? Like, is there
some symbolism?
Yes.
Okay. Let me help you with that.
Yeah.
Yes. So as far as I'm concerned, colonialism is like a web. It sort of starts at a center point and works its way out into a community. And although we don't see the colonialism sometimes, it's always present. And so something like this installation specifically is this tangled mess that actually does make geometric shapes. But there is a way to detangle that by just cutting it out, right? And looking at ways to rethink about colonialism and the web that has created overall our entire community.
Where do you, we're in front of the town hall in Port Hope, but when you go to other communities, where do you create the artwork? And do I say artwork? Like, it's artwork, I take it?
Yeah. So the art is created, a lot of times it's indoors at art galleries, museums, and then there are places like this, which are great. I like doing them outside, especially in the wintertime, because of the contrast between the red and the white, obviously, which is, again, sort of a symbolism in itself, isn't it? But it just depends on the community where it is. And these are small installations by comparison to some of the other ones, which take days and days for me to create.
And you reuse the yarn?
I reuse the pieces of the yarn, yes. I re-tie them together again and re-sew them into something else. But there are large crochet and knit pieces that, if you look online, you can see them as part of other installations. And those I reuse at another installation. So if it's some of the string that's in today's installation here in Port Hope was used at the Shingwalk residential school in Sault Ste. Marie. So that string carries those stories as it goes across Canada to different communities.
And forgive me, when did you start, and when do you finish, and where do you finish?
I don't have a finish date because the program or the project has sort of exploded. So I started at the end of July, and the first place was actually at Gallery Stratford. And I don't know where it'll finish because I haven't booked the rest of the provinces yet. Because I was concerned about travel restrictions, which apparently is a thing. So it'll finish in the fall of next year, and at that point in time I'll start working on the book. So the photos and stories from each place, and the relevance of it will be placed in a book. So
Where are you from?
I live in Hamilton.
Basically, tell me, you're doing both cannons,
Yeah.
but it stands out that you're not doing the statue. Can you tell me a little
It
bit?
does, doesn't it? It's glaringly apparent that I'm not doing the statue. So to me, I find that offensive that I wasn't permitted to install on the statue, but I will be installing around the statue. It's offensive because the legacy of someone who I guess, I don't know, are we proud of him because of the genocide that he perpetuated? I'm not sure. So I question that. I question why it's not okay to touch a statue that's so offensive to me, and how that can be rationalized by whomever said that it was not okay for me to install something in relation to him, who I'm not even going to name. Because you know how when there's a serial killer, we decide we're not going to name that person, we're going to name the victims, because the victims are more important than the person who's perpetuated the crime. Here we are again. That guy, who I'm not going to name because it's not worth it to me, perpetuated violence against people who happen to be my people, Métis people. So the Métis artist wasn't allowed to interact with someone who this town wants to protect, or whose legacy they want to protect, or whose reputation they want to protect. I find that highly offensive.
And if I can add it, if I'm wrong, by all means let me know. But it's not like it's a permanent thing that you're doing.
No, it isn't. It isn't. It's not like I'm splashing him with red paint. I mean, do you have red paint? Do you? No, yeah. And I'm fine with that, right? Because the political statement is still there, that the relevance of him, there is no relevance. Except that he offends me in particular, and Métis people as a community. And if you're proud of them, I'd like to talk to you, because conversation is a good place to start the healing process. And then I can explain to you why I find it offensive, and you can explain to me why you want to protect them, and we can start there. No, I'm okay. No, I'm fine. Okay, I'm gonna go. I want to try to finish the other one over there. She was just, I think she was 10 or 11 years old, so she did this as like, okay, yeah, so I heard earlier too that it was like, there was a lot of lumber here. Ah!
So anyway, I'm on the committee for the work on.
Yeah, but the color blood and power and courage, and yeah, so it was the right color to use, but certainly the racial slurs.
That's all that was. Oh, I mean,
Yeah, it is.
that's the power.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Yeah. I love disruptors.
Born a rebel.
That's right? Exactly.
I felt just how bad it was. I had the House of Commons closed down for 2.5 days.
Well, because I saw another one in like a burgundy SUV.
Yeah, people are slowing down.
Good.
But yeah, she got one picture. Paul Bailey already had like really a lot of like stuff.
This weather tires me out.
But that was because I was like cold. Yes. Whereas I'm sure most other people like
Sorry, I keep moving on you, man. His sword is just too big.
And it goes up out of the screen.
And you know what's so funny? Some installations, it's all good contact. And it takes me 11 minutes. You don't even notice it.
They used to put those like